This is my biceps exercise tier list. Let's see which exercises are the best ones. Nice and simple, no headache-inducing science papers. Let's go! First on the list is the classic dumbbell curl. This is the most basic curl variation there is. That's why it should be everyone's first biceps exercise. So if you are a beginner, start with this exercise. It's a time-tested classic that will not fail you. I'm going to put it in the A tier. The brother of the dumbbell curl is the barbell curl. From what I have seen, people are not rating this exercise very highly, but I beg to differ. In my opinion, this is one of the best biceps exercises out there. In my eyes, this is something like a compound lift for the biceps. And if you start treating it like it's a compound lift, you will see some great gains. In other words, most people train biceps at the end of their workout. It's the mindset of, I will throw in 3 sets of biceps at the end of my workout. This is a trap that most people fall into. How do you expect to get some biceps gains when every time that you train biceps, it's at the end of your workout, when you are already mentally and physically checked out? You wouldn't do bench press as the last exercise of your workout, would you? That's what I thought. So start treating your biceps as you would treat any major body part like chest, back or legs. Try starting your workout with the barbell curl while you are still fresh and focus on getting stronger on deadlift. For years, I thought that my biceps genetics were just bad, but when I transitioned from the 3 sets at the end of your workout mindset and started treating biceps like any other major body part, I started to see massive progress in terms of size and strength. The only problem with this exercise is that some individuals may experience wrist or forearm pain. In that case, I recommend using an easy bar. That will most likely take care of your discomfort. So I'm going to put the barbell curl into the S tier. When I already mentioned the easy bar, let's take a look at the close grip easy bar curl. Pretty much the same thing that I said about the barbell curl applies to the close grip easy bar curl. You might even find this variation a little bit better than the barbell curl, just because the way you can grip the bar might be more favorable for you. Without a doubt, this exercise also goes into the S tier. Next exercise is the hammer curl. You could theoretically say that this is more of a forearm exercise than a biceps exercise, just because of the fact that it mostly targets your brachioradialis, but I would definitely not neglect that part of your arm. It can drastically improve the way that your biceps looks like, especially if your biceps peak is very short and you have that big gap right there. If you increase the size of your brachioradialis, it might help you to make that gap appear visually a little bit smaller, thus making your biceps appear bigger. And if you are experiencing some shoulder discomfort while doing the hammer curl, try switching to the cable variation instead. The hammer curl is an awesome tool in the toolbox, and it for sure has its uses. That's why I'm going to put it in the B tier. While we are still on the topic of brachioradialis, let's talk about the reverse curl. The reverse curl is done with the overhand grip, which means that you will be mostly focusing your brachioradialis once again. But when I compare the reverse curl with the hammer curl, I find the reverse curl a little bit worse than the hammer curl. That's why it's going to be 1 tier below the hammer curl, so it goes into the C tier. Next up, we have the incline dumbbell curl. The stretch on this exercise is absolutely insane. That's why a lot of people really like this exercise, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The position that your shoulders are in might feel really uncomfortable for some folks, including me. But if you don't experience any discomfort, this is a great exercise. I will put it in the A tier. But don't you worry, if you have some problems with the incline dumbbell curl, I have a solution for you. It's the behind the back cable curl. This exercise is basically the same movement as the incline dumbbell curl, but in my eyes, the behind the back cable curl is a little bit better than the incline dumbbell curl. Just because you will most likely find it more comfortable, and the constant tension from using the cable variation is simply amazing. That's why it goes into the S tier. Next exercise is the arm blaster. Even though this is technically not an exercise, I still feel like it's a good fit in this list. The arm blaster is perfect for learning how to activate your biceps, because it locks in your elbows and shoulders in the right position, and you can just focus on curling the weight with your biceps without worrying about anything else. So if you feel like that you can't really feel your biceps when you are curling, you might wanna give the arm blaster a shot. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Next up is the cheat curl. In my mind, cheat curls are a complete waste of time. If you are swinging with your hips to get the weight up, how do you expect your biceps to get bigger? And if you say that it's all about the negative reps on this exercise, I'm sorry to tell you, but if you have to swing like a madman to get it up, it's probably so heavy for you that there is no way that you can control it on the way down. But cheat reps are not always bad. For example, there is nothing wrong with using a little bit of body language when you are trying to grind out your last rep on the barbell curl. But doing multiple sets of cheat curls is not gonna get you anywhere. It might grow your ego, but it's definitely not going to grow your biceps. Cheat curls are gonna go into the D tier. But this is still not the worst biceps exercise that you can do. There is one more exercise that is even worse. We will look at it in a second. The next exercise on the list is the easy bar preacher curl. This exercise is absolutely amazing. The stretch and the contraction that you can get on this exercise is completely out of this world. The overall perception of all the preacher curl variations is that it has a high chance of injuring you. But let's be honest, what doesn't have a high chance of injuring you? There is always something bad that can happen no matter what exercise you do. But if you execute the exercise properly, you minimize the risk of injury to minimum. If you are not a dummy, this exercise is great. S tier. Another preacher curl variation is the dumbbell preacher curl. In my opinion, the dumbbell preacher curl is a little bit worse than the easy bar variation, but it's still an awesome exercise. That's why I'm going to put it in the A tier. And the last variation of the preacher curl is the machine preacher curl. As with all the machines, it really depends on the quality of the machine that your gym has. But assuming that the machine that you are using is good, then this is a brilliant exercise. It goes straight into the S tier. Next exercise is the waiter curl. As the name suggests, you will be waiting a long time to get some biceps gains out of this exercise. So this bad boy is on its way to the science-based tier. Alright, next up is the concentration curl. This is another great exercise. One cool technique that I love doing on this exercise is when one of my arms can do any more reps, I use my second hand to help bring up the dumbbell and then slowly control the negative. If you use this technique for the last couple of reps, you will experience a level of pump that you have never experienced before. Definitely give it a shot. Well deserved A tier. One other exercise that deserves a spotlight is the spider curl. Oh, hold up, not this picture, this spider curl. Anyway, because you are laying on a bench, there is no chance that you will actually cheat your reps with your legs or by swinging with your upper body. So this might be a great option if you find yourself using a little bit too much body language. Overall, this is a really good exercise. S tier. Now let's take a look at the cable curl. Honestly, almost everything that involves cables is usually amazing. As we all know, the constant tension that cables provide is great. And you might also find the cable variation more comfortable, but that's all up to your personal preference. Cable curl will go into the A tier. And this concludes my biceps exercise tier list. If you only had to take away one thing from this video, remember that if you really want your biceps to grow, you actually need to put in some effort and get out of the 3 sets at the end of your workout mindset with random weight and random exercise. This approach will keep your biceps forever small. And if you are interested in effective and easy to understand training plans that use all the S tier exercises, check out my website, link in the description. And as always, a big thanks to all the supporters on my Patreon. Did you like this video? Then you will for sure like this one too.